hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip
Bars is back.
hip hop,
SamAnt
hop,
O'God.
hop.
What's up with
So you get on to the VH1 show called Sign. It was a big hit a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And the clip resurfaced, I think, on Shade Room the other day of you and another individual. And that was Rick Ross. I think The Dream and somebody else in there that was judging the competition. So take us back through the journey of how you got onto that show and what happened, while on the show.
Okay. So the judges for that was Rick Ross, of course, The Dream, and Lenny Santiago. I actually got on that show from a casting director just reaching out and asking me that I want to do it, and I was like, sure, why not? So I auditioned and went to California and auditioned again, and they decided to have me up there. And while up there, it was very, very, I guess, different for me. I had never been in a setting where it was so fast paced and competitive like that. So that was very different for me. But while up there, as you guys know, I ended up having the same beat of a song as another artist. Okay. As I said, I got up there from just a casting director reaching out and asking if I wanted to do the show, and I agreed. So I auditioned, and they picked me to be up there. And the show's actually filmed here in Atlanta. And on the show, they just had us singing and doing different things and writing songs while we were up there. And on the particular day in question, I know people keep thinking it's an Aston Martin beat. It's actually not. It was just a track that kind of sounded similar. So the other artist actually just did the Rick Ross song on top of it. It wasn't his song. It wasn't the track to the song. So, which is why I think is another reason why people are, I guess it's part of a bit of confusion with that. But I ended up just writing a different vibe to the beat. And after I wrote it and recorded it, I was getting a lot of good feedback from the cast and everybody else that was involved, the producers and all that. So I was pretty confident, when I went out there. I knew it wasn't a bad song or anything like that. Whether they liked it or not, I knew I did my best. So going up there, she did her song first, and they gave her good feedback and all that, and then I went up and did mine, and I actually didn't even get a chance to finish mine before I kind of got cut off, and he was just like he wasn't feeling it, and whatever else. So I guess in that moment I was a little, I guess, taken aback and a little stunned. Not saying that like my song was better than hers, but I didn't expect to get such negative feedback since I did actually spend the time to write a song versus just, I guess, sampling somebody else's music.
Right, absolutely. And at the time, we obviously seen it on social media, started going crazy at the time. And
Right.
you close your eyes, you listen to both of you guys singing, it's clear who sounds better than me, in my opinion, right? But every ear is objective, and those six pair of
Right.
ears, I heard what I heard. But let's talk about the colorism, because a lot of people are putting a lot of highlights of that. She was light skinned, she was
Right.
dark, and that's why they didn't pick. And before we kind of wanted to jump to any judgment, I'm glad that you came on to be able to give proper perspective to
Right.
the situation, because a lot of people were jumping down Rick Ross's throat, Lenny S's throat, Dream's throat. And I believe they were very,
Right.
very rude to you. They didn't want to jump to colorism right away. I wanted to give the panel to you to let you give the real perspective. So how did you feel about all of it? Immediately after, months after now, how do you feel about it?
Even in the moment, I didn't think it was colorism. I did think it was like sexism, like he I guess favored her over me because of her appearance, which, wasn't fair for me. I kind of just went in losing anyways, regardless of what I would have done. I don't think I would have came out on top at all. So it was very, I guess, unfortunate for me to have to experience something like that. And then I actually found out. The video was old, but I actually found out a couple of days ago that he had actually said, Rick Ross actually said he was showing her favoritism because he liked her and all of that. So I think I was gonna come out losing anyways, regardless of what would have happened. So
Now, if you would have won that contest, I guess they say you would have had a deal with Rock Nation and a few other record companies. Is that true?
yeah, with their labels, with each one of their labels.
Wow. So you said sexism, and you brought up on that clip that we seen on Twitter it might have been something about her big butt. You think it was something about like her butt? She was sexy that he may have.
I did say that.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess that was just me saying, I was putting in the words what he had said. I guess I just put it in my own words, but it was sexism. I mean, that's just what it was. It was favoritism. I don't think that in that moment we were going just based off of what we were actually doing as artists. I feel like it was, other things tied to it, which is why I ended up, not, I guess, making it further in the show, or whatever the case was. But yeah, it was definitely sexism.
So you don't buy into the colorism at all. You don't think it was any reason because she was a little bit fairer skinned, lighter skinned than you, and you were a darker sister. You don't think that feeds into it at all?
For me, it didn't. But at the same time, I don't know what, his intentions were. I don't know what he was thinking in his head. So everybody, perceived it that way because that's what it looked like. But for me in the moment, like filming and everything, I didn't feel inferior because of my complexion. I just felt inferior because of, I guess, more so my appearance than anything.
Excuse me. I'm glad you said that because colorism obviously plays a huge role in our culture, the light skin versus dark skin debate.
Right.
And a lot of people,
right.
That's a very emotional topic. And in this day and age, a lot of people feed off of our emotion. So do you think it was fair to put you two in that situation? How did you look at it after the case? Like people are automatically putting colorism to this, even more than sexism. You say sexism, it makes a lot more sense. Colorism means that isolated situation. How do you feel about people maybe playing the emotional role on people as far as just throwing that out there and kind of gaining a reaction?
Well, for me, I wasn't I feel like that would have made me, phony to feed into that, especially if I knew that's not how I felt. So I'm making sure to set the record straight on, I guess, my own personal experience in that. I do understand, however, how people could have perceived it to be that way. I definitely, I get it. So I can't, dispute any of that. But for me, that's not what it was for me.
Right. And we can't pretend like in the industry for many years that a lot of these rappers favor light-skinned women in their videos. And that was one of the bigger, main arguments. But the Dream, he pretty much made a statement and said, look, y'all don't ever question my blackness. I like black women, this, that, and the third. So I just think I get what you're saying. And I understand the colorism aspect. A lot of these rappers over time would always put light-skinned women in their videos. So that's why I think it came out with that aspect, even though they might have been
right. No, I get it.
Now, is it fair to put blame on these three brothers, Rick Ross, Lenny S, and Dream right now? Do you think that, first off, are you glad that it came back out just because it's gaining attention in the proper way? You didn't get a fair shot. I think everybody would agree with that. You, like I said, you close your eyes and it's clear. And that's no disrespect to that sister either, because she was in her lane and maybe they looked at her and seen the right lane and whatever they saw, like, okay, she's the one. But from a singing perspective, you were clearly better to me. So how did that affect you being, because that was just that show in general. And then after that, how did that affect you in your career?
I'm actually very happy that it came back out. At the time, I guess, had egg on my face about the whole situation, especially how it went down. But I'm happy it came back out. I have no, I guess, ill will towards her or anything like that. But it has been a blessing for me as time has went on. People, I guess, are gravitating more to my page and listening to me sing and stuff. So I can't say I'm necessarily upset that it came back out. But yeah, I'm happy about it.
Good.
So what was the atmosphere like in there? Was it real tense in that audition? Did you kind of feel inside the audition like, you know what, they might be a little bit biased at some point before, you know, they actually said that? Was there any signs or indications that came out?
Not for me. It was a tense environment, but not because of that. It was just more so tense because we are artists, and you know, we're trying to, I guess, please these three individuals in order to further our careers in whatever we're doing, whether it be rap or singing or anything. But I guess it was more so I wasn't expecting it. It was very unexpected, like how it happened. I didn't think that at the time that he was going to show favoritism or anything like that. I thought it was just what it was. We were artists, and they were just gonna, you know, I guess critique us, you know, off of that. Because actually, it wasn't. It wasn't really a competition, I guess you could say, because they only ended up putting us against each other because we had the same song, the same track. Nobody else really went up against each other. It was just us two that they was comparing because our track was the same. So I wasn't expecting that at all, actually.
Do you think they may have picked her because you know, I mean, they're music people and they're great at what they do, but the ear is sometimes real simple. Like to hear something that they're familiar with. That's why people like to listen to cover bands, because they like to hear their own music.
Right.
And you went out there with something original. And although people with an original ear may think that's dope, people, three people sitting there may not vibe to that. Do you think maybe that was one of the reasons why he cut you off?
It definitely could have been. I can't dispute that. I mean, it could have just been that he didn't like the song, which that wasn't a problem for me. I didn't think like, oh, I got this $1 million song and they just gonna love it, yada yada yada. It was more so like, okay, if they can, you know, look past the words and just pay more attention to me as an artist, let's see where that gets me. It was more so that.
So what type of opportunities, you know, has this resurfacing, this news resurfacing brought for you now? Are there any more opportunities that you have now where people say, you know what, she can really sing, let me offer her this, that, on the table?
Yeah, definitely. I have writers and producers and all type of people reaching out to me right now. So I'm, you know, going forward with that. So I'm happy, honestly.